So I go to work today, and before I could pull into the school, I start feeling panicky and I start crying uncontrollably. And I can feel myself kind of spiral. So I call my mom. Not one time, not two times, but three times I call her and no answer. So there was no help there. And I call a friend and I let the friend know, like, I can't stop crying. I don't think I can go into work. And their tone and what they said is like, well, are you sure you can't make it? Can't you just like struggle through this one day? So not understanding, obviously. So there was no help there. And I'm like sandwiched in between two buses on my way to this school. And I start thinking, man, if those buses were to somehow wreck with me in the middle, then I wouldn't have to go to work. And there would be my excuse, which is obviously not a normal thought to think. And at that moment, I knew I had no choice but to turn around. And someone from work messaged and they were like, well, I brought you something if you come in. And I'm like, well, I'm not coming in. I got to the school, I start crying uncontrollably, and I'm on my way back home. And their response is like, LOL, I can't believe you did that, blah, blah, blah. So obviously, I'm baffled because my message is like, I don't understand how that's funny, but okay. And so of course there's like no understanding and there's no help really in that situation there. And so I guess I'm sharing that because if I listened to some people and I would have just kind of bulldozed my way through and just kept working anyway, just went into work anyway, like obviously mentally that job is not healthy for me. It's not in my best interest. We can even say that it's toxic for me at this point in time. And I'm sitting in my car as I pulled up at home and I'm thinking, this is what happens before people snap. And it's funny because people are like, oh, well, we didn't see it coming. There were no signs. We don't understand, what happened. But I'm thinking about all of the people that I reached out to, and there was no understanding. There was no compassion. There was no empathy. So there are signs, but for some people, they're ignored. For some people, they just don't understand. And there's a little bit of judgment behind that. So that's why at the end of the day, you have to make sure that you put yourself before any other, before people's judgments. You can't let that sway you in some of your decisions because some people don't come to you from a place of understanding or empathy or compassion. They're not going to understand you. They're not going to understand what you're going through. They're not going to understand your thoughts because we're all different. And sometimes that's okay. And sometimes things happen because your body, your brain, your soul, your spirit are trying to protect you from, things escalating. And so for people that, like, if you're ever going through a situation like that, now I know for me, it's a little bit easier to say than, maybe for some people, because I don't technically have to work this job. I do have another one. So it's not like I'm going to be out on the streets if I don't return to that job. But I do know worst case scenario, if I did, like, it could be pretty bad if I just tried to fight my way through. So it's not really worth it. I mean, I have some financial goals that I was trying to meet, get my son a car, which I'm still going to, have the money to get that for him. There were some other financial goals, but, even if I didn't, like, I'm pretty sure my son would rather have me around than to have a car. I mean, I don't know, but that's what I would think. My son is really good, obviously. And the financial goals that I have, like, they can wait, or I can just find another way to meet them. But I'm definitely not going to meet them if I just try to ride it out and suck it up, right? Anyways, I don't know. Maybe that'll help someone if you're going through like a similar situation. Sometimes you just have to do you because not everyone is going to understand what you have going on or whatever. All right. I love you. Bye.